Hi, and welcome back to the channel. It's true, my name is Norf, and a few weeks ago I posted a video on productivity, my realistic productivity. In that video, I was asked a question about what techniques and apps do I use to ensure that I remain focused and productive throughout the day. So in this video, I'm going to unpack those elements. There's going to be 6 of them, so strap yourselves in and let's get started. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 productivity techniques that I use to remain productive throughout the day. I did mention 6, and that 6th is going to be a bonus right at the end, so stick around for that. There's been a significant amount of research already conducted into the cognitive benefits of using pencil and paper in both adults and children. And as you know, that is my favorite medium to be able to write and ideate. I find that there's a great connection between my mind, my arm and my hands, using fine motor skills to be able to write things down. Not only to ideate, but also to write down things like to-do lists. As soon as you write a to-do list, that's all it is. Add a time factor to it, it becomes a task. A great technique that I use tied to using pencil and paper is mind mapping. Mind mapping has been such a powerful thing that I have learned and have been using for the last 2 years or so, and honestly, I have found it absolutely incredible. Using pencil, paper, and being able to mind map allows me to generate and brainstorm ideas. This, I'm sure, is not the correct technique to use mind mapping, but for me, I would write in the center what the topic is, what the subject is. I'll put a big circle around it, and then from that, I'll draw lines off with whatever I think of. Remember, nothing is off the table when it comes to brainstorming. Get every single idea out on that piece of paper that you can find. Once you've got everything out on paper, it's at that point that you have an opportunity to refine your idea even further. When using pencil and paper, it's super important to write down what is in scope. What is it you're looking to achieve during your time of productivity? Of equal importance is also what is not in scope. If anything does fall outside of the scope of what you're focusing on, you can put that down for another time. Write it onto a piece of paper, and that will then become part of your to-do list. Our minds will be going off in all sorts of different directions when you're in that zone of productivity. There will be some things that will just drop in. And it's great to have a piece of paper next to you where you can write down exactly what that is. Put that on your to-do list. Once it's out of your mind, you can get back to being focused and productive. The third point is around apps, and when it comes to those productivity apps, I just use 2, believe it or not. I use an electronic calendar, be it in Google or Outlook, and then I will also use Notion. Notion is a fantastic app to be able to capture everything on your to-do list, put a time next to it, and then to create tasks. I was using Evernote to capture notes and ideas, but I found that because I'm visual, Notion is perfect for me. Because Notion is cross-platform, I can use it on my physical computer on my Mac. I can also use it on my tablet and my Android smartphone. It doesn't really matter what productivity app you choose to use. Remember that we are all unique and we all have different ways of putting things together. You know that I'm a huge fan of the Notion. If you do anything for 8 hours a day, you're going to get good at it. And productivity is no different. It's a little bit like a muscle. The more you flex on your productivity, the more you flex on your technique for delivering productivity, the better you will become. You will develop both focus and discipline with exercising that productivity muscle. Use your calendar to your advantage. Block time out. If you know that you're required to be productive during the hours of 8 and 9, block that time out. The 4th productivity technique that I will use is music. You know that I am a massive fan of music. And dependent on my mood, that will determine what I listen to. You may be a person that actually, when you're in your productive flow state, you want to listen to no music. You may want to put on a pair of headphones, noise-cancelling headphones, to ensure that you are working in complete peace and quiet. For me, I'm the polar opposite. I've got to have music playing. What I also tend to do is create playlists of different types of music. So say, for example, if I'm getting ready to record a YouTube video or to go on stage to present, I'll probably listen to some really good banging tunes, like liquid drum and bass, for example. If I've got to be in a flow state where I've got to think and I've got to create something, I'll probably listen to deep house. The thing that I tend to do that helps me remain in that flow state is to put these tracks on repeat. Because I know these tracks are coming, I'm not distracted by a new track, by a new groove. Ooh, what's that drum fill? That's really nice. Again, that's a distraction that pulls me out of that productivity flow state. Music is a great productivity technique that I really can't do without because it ensures that I remain in my flow state to get the job done. The fifth productivity technique that I tend to use is simple observation. I found that there are 2 points during the day where I am most productive. Around 8 AM, once I've got my first coffee inside of me and everyone else is out of the house, it's at that point that I've got a long stretch of time where I can be focused and get into that flow state. The second time of the day is just after lunch, around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This is something that I've observed over the last few years, and I find that those 2 times are excellent for me to get into that productivity flow state. So, observe the times of the day where you are most productive. For some of us, we're really productive in the early hours of the day. Others are more productive late at night. Spend the time to observe where you are most productive. Once you've achieved that task or set of tasks that you've set yourself for that day, ensure that you reward yourself. And your reward may be, I'll sit on YouTube for X amount of time, or I'll go and get something to eat or something to drink, or go for a walk, exercise. Whatever that reward that you've set for yourself is, ensure that you take that reward once you have completed your task or your tasks. The key thing is here, you're not just developing focus, you're also developing discipline. Speaking of discipline and focus, this leads me onto the bonus tip for this week. Tip number 6 around productivity techniques. Set aside 1 hour. It may be in the morning, it may be in the evening, where you have 0 distractions. And you simply focus on one task, not 2, one task that you are going to deliver inside that hour. Set a timer and go. It's something that I could call a productivity power hour. Remember to guard that hour, because inside that hour, this is where you will reach maximum productivity to deliver that one task, to get as far as you can with it. Why? To help you develop discipline and focus. And that's it for this week. Those were the 6 productivity techniques that I use. The first, of course, is my favorite medium, pencil and paper. And with pencil and paper, you can create to-do lists and you can create tasks. You can also use pencil and paper to create mind maps. Mind mapping being an incredibly powerful technique for generating and brainstorming ideas. The third productivity technique is apps, and I use 2 electronic apps, one of which is just a simple calendar, the other one is Notion. The fourth productivity technique, a really important one for me, is music. You may find that silence is better for you to be productive. The fifth productivity technique was to denote the time of day that you believe you're most productive. That could either be in the early morning, afternoon, the evening, or late at night. The sixth and final point was the power hour. What will you do inside that hour with distractions moved out of the way? How far will you get in completing that task? And that's it for this week. Please do let me know in the comments below whether you found these 6 productivity techniques useful, whether they're new to you, whether these are ones that you already know, ones that you can take, adapt, and drive to develop a change in your personal behavior. And that's it for this week. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time here. As you know, I love the number 3, so please do 3 things for me. If you like the content, please do give me a thumbs up. Also, please remember to subscribe to the channel and remember to hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on when I upload brand new content to the channel. Again, thank you for spending your time here, and I'll see you next time.